If you're over 40, if you've got kids, if you've got a job, then you've probably felt the stress of trying to manage all of that with a demanding workout routine when you are, trying to work out more than what is realistic for your schedule, and you run into the stress of it. And in my experience, when that happens, life just becomes crap. When you're trying to push yourself with your training, when you're trying to get more done than what you seem to be able to fit into your schedule, it all just becomes way too much. And this is something that, in all honesty, I've felt a little bit this week, and it's what inspired me to do this show. I'm laughing because I'm looking at my hair in the screen. I didn't even go into the bathroom and get my hair done before I did this, so I look a little bit ragtaggedy. I was just upstairs with my wife, and our whole morning routine was just a little bit out. I work from home, so this office is downstairs. My house, my living area is upstairs, and the morning with my son, who's 8 now, and my wife, it just took longer than what we normally plan for. My wife had some things that she wanted to talk through with me that I couldn't sort of just cut the conversation off when I said I was going to come and do my live stream. And it all just adds up, right? And then what, for me, the thing that seems to become the most stressful on days like that is my workouts, because it's very, very hard for me to, and I guess for most people, to say, well, I'm not going to do this meeting at work, or I'm not going to meet the deadline of this project, or I'm not going to, follow through with what I have to do. In my work, it's that I have to do coaching with all of our members around the world. I have to review people's videos. I have to do coaching calls. I have to try and do content, stuff like this. And working out seems to sort of take a little bit of a backseat on the priority list. Now, what I want to share with you is the strategies of what I do that works really, really well to keep me on track with my training. Because these kinds of things, these kinds of weeks, these kinds of days are going to happen. And so I think one of the first things that we want to do is we want to plan for this situation. We don't want to be caught off guard thinking that this is an anomaly, because in my life it's not. Contrary to what you may think from, me being a fitness professional, is the, I'm, yes, I do have more time to work out than the average person, but I still have a lot of commitments that I have to deal with, that I have to manage. And so working out can still become, stressful for me. So what works for me is I put my workouts in my schedule no matter what. So it's like a meeting, it's a meeting, just like having a meeting with a client, having a meeting with a subordinate, with your boss, with your superior. It's, meetings get done always. If it's in your schedule, bang, you go into that meeting. And so I put my workouts in my schedule in the same way. And then some days I don't get the whole workout done. Some days I get only half my workout done, or sometimes even less. My workout that I do in the morning usually goes for 90 minutes. I do 90 minutes of strength and flexibility training in the mornings. And then I have a second workout that I do in the afternoon, which is usually handstands and maybe some cardio. Hobbit Girl is saying, also cutting off from the mountains of thoughts, stress and to-dos in order to get your head on the training session. Yeah, 100%. I'll talk about that in just a sec. And so when I have that, when the time comes in my schedule, when it's time for training, and this is the hardest part for me, without a doubt, is that I stand up and I get out and I start my workout. And that is very hard on those stressful days, on the days when you're, for you guys, in all honesty, my personal experience, if you have to travel to go to the gym, so if you go to the gym to do your workouts, I actually think that that's easier than working out at home, like what I do. When we used to own and operate Unity Gym, so we're an online business now, we don't have a location where we do classes and we see clients. It's 100% online coaching that we do now. But when we operated Unity Gym, I found that way easier to get my workouts done because I was in a gym, I was in a space where I was with other people and I could get up and I could start talking and I could make that transition from work, even though that was still my work, which is challenging. And my brother feels the same. My brother now, he doesn't have a home gym because he lives in North Sydney. He's my business partner, Yanni, if you didn't know. And so he lives in an apartment, so he has to go to a gym, which is just around the corner. It's a 5-minute walk for him to get to the gym. Whereas for me, I live at the Central Coast, which is north of Sydney. It's it's not a rural area, but it's not a busy city. And the nearest gym is about a 15-minute drive for me, which means with parking and getting to and from to the car, it's at best it's 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back. And I didn't want to get a second car. I didn't want to share that. I didn't want to have 2 cars in our house just so that I could go to the gym, to save on that cost. So my wife and I only have 1 car, and because she does the majority of house management stuff, I just can't plan that I'm going to go to the gym every day and use the car, especially not twice a day. So I was forced to make myself a home gym. But because I have a house here, we have the space for it, so I made myself a home gym. But it's honestly, I find it harder than what my brother finds to actually get my workouts done. Because when you actually have to get up and walk out your door, there's a mental space that's created where as soon as you walk out the door, everything that's going on in your head changes towards going to the gym. And then when you get to the gym, it's workout time and it's time for you to train. But working out at home is very, very different for that, because when I stand up to work out, you can see my dumbbells there. You can see my bench there. That's my incline bench. And then out that door is where my barbells are and my pull-up bar and, all that other equipment and my space for training. So when I'm working out, I'm right in the same space where I'm working. It's very, very hard to disconnect from work and to make it, to say to myself, this is workout time, because as I'm sitting there doing, sets of chest press or bent over row or whatever, I'm only a meter away from my workstation. And so it's really challenging to switch that off. So what works for me is that when I have that workout time in my diary, I stand up and I have a routine that I do that I immediately do to transition from work to working out. And so what I do most days is I do a tiny little bit of rotator cuff activation and scapular stabilization activation work that comes from my slap tear rehab time, which is still really good to do as a warm-up. And what that does for me is it's like this ritual that's a transition from work to working out, where I do a bit of stuff with my body blades and I do some stuff with a medicine ball on a wall. And that kind of transitions me into my workout. And then I just start my workout no matter how I'm feeling, because there are so many days where I really don't feel like working out. In fact, it's very rare that I actually feel like working out. And I'm always torn between all of the work that I have to do for my business. And so what I find is that when you just get started, that even on those really busy days, if you see that it's time for you to do your workout, you stand up and you just get started no matter what you're doing, and no matter how you're feeling. And then on a lot of days, you'll gain momentum from just getting started and you'll start to feel better as the workout starts. And so often then you'll get started, you'll get into it, and then you'll be fine. But if it's one of those days where you're really behind, you've got a lot to do, the stress of everything that's going on in your life is just, really preventing you from being able to do your full workout. This is where having a minimum workout is really valuable for you. So it's where you can, basically, I have my intended workout that I'm going to do that goes for 90 minutes, but I know that in my mind, if I'm ever on a really, really tight schedule and I just can't get the whole thing done, I just do the my warm-up, which takes me about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I do 3 sets of my primary exercises, which is my compound lifts for my strength training and my flexibility work. And I can get all that done in about 25 to 30 minutes. And it's unrealistic for me to think that I wouldn't be able to get that done on any day when I'm stressed. And then often what happens is that will turn into my full workout, because I'll start with doing my minimum workout. I'll get through that, and then I'll start to feel like I'm getting more in the vibe, and my mind will start to settle a bit, and then that will turn into the full workout. And so if one thing that you take away from this is, if you haven't worked out what a minimum workout for you is, you should plan for that. Because on those days when you're really stressed and when it's hard for you to get in and do your workout, it's very, very hard for you to be creative in your mind at the moment when you need to, which is when you're starting your workout and you have to think to yourself, what am I going to do today? I've only got 30 minutes to train. I can't do my full workout. You want to know in your mind exactly what it is that you're going to do on that day. So having a minimum workout is really useful in that time. Another thing that's really going to be beneficial for you is be very, very realistic on what it is that you can do in a day and in a week of your training. Because I think one of the biggest problems is that people's goals and people's actions just aren't matching. And when you have this goal of what you're going to achieve and what your workouts are going to be, but you can never match it with your actions, that becomes really stressful, and it becomes an ongoing source of stress in your life, where you're constantly feeling this disparity between what you know you need to do to achieve your goals and what you are actually doing. And sometimes what we have to do is adjust our expectations, adjust our goals and adjust what we plan to do in a workout so it becomes more realistic. And that might mean that you're not going to achieve all of the goals that you set out for yourself. But it's far more satisfying to achieve less of your goals than to not achieve more goals. Know what I mean? Like, let's say you've got, goals to do pull-ups for the first time, double bodyweight squats, middle splits and a back bridge, for example, and also lose 10 kilograms of fat. If you change your goals to just being able to do pull-ups and lose 10 kilograms of fat, or 22 pounds if you're over in the States, if you change the goals to just that and you achieve those goals in 6 months' time, versus if you had all of those 5 goals but you didn't achieve any of them, what would make you more satisfied? It's obvious that you would be more satisfied if you achieved less goals, And then what happens is, once you achieve 1 or 2 goals, that creates this roll-on effect, this snowballing effect, where you can then set yourself another 1 or 2 goals. And then when you achieve those 2 goals, that even adds more snow and more speed to that snowball rolling down the mountain. Hobbit Girl's saying, that's me, I want to be She-Hulk, but there's no way I can dedicate that much time to hypertrophic training. I think you mean hypertrophy training. Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's I can tell you about that in just a sec. Tim Chilman is saying, this is why the primary and supplementary workouts are great. Tim's one of my UMS online coaching tribe members, so he's talking about the UMS online coaching. He's saying the primary is always my minimum, but in the time I've achieved that, I want to complete the supplementary as well. Brother, that is exactly why we do that. And it works so well, doesn't it? Because you can just log into the app, you can just start, and you do as much of it as you can. If you don't get it done, you stop. And if you've got the time, then you continue and you keep doing your supplementary work. So thanks for sharing that experience, Tim. Hobbit Girl, yeah, it's absolutely, that's a big problem if your goals are so far ahead of what you can actually set out for yourself. So the first thing that you should do is you should really determine what is the realistic amount of time that you can work out in a gym, and then create a workout that will actually fit into that time, so that you know that when you go to the gym that you can realistically get it done. And you can achieve hypertrophy in a 60-minute workout. You can. But you need to make sure that you're being very efficient. And I recommend that you do alternating sets. So you do a push exercise and a pull exercise, so that you're maximizing your use of time. Doing straight sets is it's a big waste of time. You can get a lot more done if you do alternating sets. And there's many other ways that you can make your workouts more efficient, but you can get it done. You can do it. So yeah, Because if you don't make these changes, if you don't find a way to make working out not a stressful experience, like something that empowers you, something that makes you feel good, something that you look forward to, something that isn't adding stress to your life, then in my experience, it ends up just being something that has a snowballing effect in your life in the wrong way. You add stress to everything that you're doing, and something that really should be an experience that takes stress out of your life, like it removes stress from it, like working out should make you feel less stress, not more stress, then I think it's always going to be problematic for you. And it's always going to be something that, that you will struggle with to get your goals. So I hope that helps. I hope it gives you some food for thought. And honestly, one of the things that will remove more stress out of your workouts than anything else that I've ever experienced is working with a coach that writes your programs for you, that you don't actually have to think about it anymore. That you just go to the gym, you open up your app, and you just do the workout that's right there. And also that can provide coaching for you so that you know that you're doing things the right way, because you can be following a program, but if you're doing the exercises the wrong way, if you're performing the technique incorrectly, you can do everything else right. You can be going to the gym, you can not be stressed, you can be doing your workouts, you can be consistent and frequent with your training. But if you're doing the technique incorrectly, then you're not going to get the results that you want. And the most important things about working out, the most important things that are going to achieve hypertrophy, so building muscle, that are going to make you stronger, that are going to lose fat, that are going to improve cardio fitness, is consistency. Doing things frequently, consistently. So whether that's 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, but doing it every week, but doing it the right way as well. So if you need help with that, go over to unitygym.com, get started with my online coaching. You'll be working with me directly, and we'll get you the results that you're after. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you guys some food for thought. And comment if you need any more help than that, or go over to unitygym.com and get started. And I'll see you in tomorrow's stream. I'm going to go and do my workout now. I'm going to go and get ready for it. Have a good day, team.